Hi Knights, it's Jeremy Brenner. Coming up in UCF Knightly News, Interim President Thad Seymour sat down with Knightly News to talk about his term ending and its impact on UCF.
I'm Stephen Parchment. Gun sales are increasing as the COVID-19 pandemic continues to spread. We'll tell you how Florida stacks up to the rest of the country in sales.
Hi, I'm Katie Sivko. Florida Public Schools start online learning this week. Stay tuned to find out how some teachers are making the transition to remote instruction. Nightly News starts now.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Carolina Tessutto, and today is Friday, April 3rd, 2020. Last week, the UCF Board of Governors approved Alexander Cartwright as the new president of UCF. This week, Nightly News reporter Jeremy Brenner caught up with interim president Thad Seymour to see what he had to say about his time at UCF.
Dr. Thad Seymour is entering his final week as UCF's interim president. He took over the position a little over a year ago after Dale Whitaker resigned. I spoke with him on a Zoom call to learn more about how the position has impacted him and what's next for UCF. When I asked him about what he had learned the most from the position, this is what he had to say.
I like being in places, doing things where the mission really matters. And this really confirmed for me that that's when you have a place like UCF that has such an important role, and it no matter how hard the work is, it keeps you going because it matters and it's inspiring work. And I think I reaffirmed for myself that the best parts of career, really capped in many ways by this experience, have been when I was involved with a mission-driven organization that was making a real difference, and that's pretty motivating.
If you had one last message to the UCF student body, particularly the seniors that are graduating without this full-on graduation this spring, what would your message be to them?
Well, for our seniors, I am so sorry and disappointed that we're not able to celebrate in person. At late April, early May had been the plan. And personally, I was looking forward to that because commencement is my favorite event of the year, and a chance to celebrate with our seniors would have been a wonderful way for me and Katie to finish our term here. But having said that, all of those seniors and everyone associated with the university, I hope and know will continue to take great pride in this place.
After his term ends on April 12th, Dr. Seymour and his wife Katie will continue to live in Orlando and be part of the UCF community. To view the full-length interview between me and Dr. Seymour, visit our YouTube channel. In Orlando, Jeremy Brenner, UCF Nightly News.
Now let's take a look at some growing national numbers for COVID-19 over the past few days. On Wednesday in New York, there were 76,049 cases, 1,714 deaths. Today in New York, there were 102,863 cases and 2,935 deaths. Now let's move over to the west coast of the country. In California on Wednesday, there were 8,584 cases and 183 deaths. They have managed to keep that number low, and as of today, there are 11,206 cases and only 249 deaths. Over in Washington, on Wednesday, there were 5,482 cases and 225 deaths. But as of today, those numbers have increased slightly, and now there are 6,597 cases and 272 deaths. Here in Florida, on Wednesday, there were 6,741 cases and 85 deaths. But as of today, those numbers have increased a bit, and now there are 9,585 cases, 163 deaths, and roughly 1,215 people hospitalized. Let's look at numbers over the past week for those in Central Florida. We'll start in Orange County, and on Monday, there were 293 cases, 4 deaths, and 51 hospitalizations. And unfortunately, Orange County has become one of the hotspots for Central Florida. As of today, there are 589 cases, 6 deaths, and 81 hospitalizations. Let's hop over across the street to Seminole County, where on Monday they had 87 cases, 0 deaths, 16 hospitalizations. Now today, there are 160 cases, 0 deaths, and 32 hospitalizations. A little further in Osceola County, as of Monday, they had 94 cases, 0 deaths, and only 20 hospitalizations. But unfortunately, as of today, they have 191 cases, 4 deaths, and 54 hospitalizations, making them also a hotspot in Central Florida. Brevard County, as of Monday, they had 31 cases, 0 deaths, and 3 hospitalizations, and they've managed to keep their numbers low because as of today, they have 51 cases, 0 deaths, and 16 hospitalizations. In Miami, Milan Martinez, UCF Nightly News.
With the COVID-19 pandemic, not only are communities running low on toilet paper, they're running low on blood donations.
Officials from the FDA, which regulates all U.S. blood banks, say that scheduled blood drives have now been canceled due to current social distancing policies. Unfortunately, the need for donors doesn't stop, as experts say someone needs blood every 2 seconds. Juliana Sir is a junior at UCF. She suffers from anemia, or a lack of iron in the blood, so she can't donate. But she says that doesn't mean others shouldn't still go out and donate in a time like this.
There's someone else who is in that position who's not fortunate enough to be able to donate, and it's kind of part of your role in the community to step up for them, because even if we can't physically be together, it's really important to connect to everyone and have a sense of community during this whole time.
The U.S. Surgeon General agrees, saying social distancing doesn't mean social disengagement. Doctors say the coronavirus can't be passed through blood, but donation sites have increased safety measures for donors and staff.
I'm going to go far back.
To make a donation appointment, you can visit your local blood bank's website or hop on a big red bus. In Palmetto, Florida, Taylor Toole, UCF Nightly News.
Gun sales continue to rise due to the COVID-19 pandemic. According to online retailer ammo.com, their site has seen a 350% increase in site traffic, as well as a 574% increase in transactions in the last month. Ammo.com ranks Florida's second in sales in the country behind Texas. The marketing manager of Ammo.com, Alex Horsman, released a statement about their increase in sales. We know certain things impact ammo sales, mostly political events or economic instability, when people feel their rights may end up infringed. But this is our first experience with a virus leading to such a boost in sales. The fear of the unknown is what is causing the surge in sales for the industry from first-time buyers. One UCF student, Joseph Davila, says he recently purchased a gun to protect himself during the pandemic.
I bought a gun because with the whole coronavirus thing going on, I don't know how people are going to act, and I don't feel safe with that. I bought it to protect my family and I, because the anxiety levels are at an all-time high with everything going on.
While gun sales continue to spike, background checks are following close behind. According to data from the FBI's National Instant Crime Background Check System, there were over 75,000 more background checks in March compared to February. Gun sales are expected to continue rising as COVID-19 hits its peak in confirmed cases this month. In Orlando, Stephen Parchment, UCF Nightly News.
Students in Central Florida public schools are getting used to a new way of learning after the state ordered all schools to close until May due to the coronavirus outbreak. Online classes went live on Monday, and most teachers had 1 week to transform their curriculum for new platforms like Google Classroom and Canvas. UCF alum Nicole Pedic is a 6th grade history teacher at Heritage Middle School in Volusia County. Pedic says some of her students don't have a computer or a reliable internet connection at home.
It's a big adjustment. It's a big shift, and my main concern is just making sure that my students are able to jump on with it so none of them get left behind.
Students can rent a device from their school, or they can pick up a paper version of their work. Here in Brevard County, district officials say they have stockpiles of internet-ready laptops for student use, and they're encouraging families to contact their student's school if they need one. UCF alum Kyle Parker is an English teacher at Winter Springs High School in Seminole County. Parker says his students are already familiar with the school's online learning platform, so he's more worried about end-of-the-year testing.
I think my biggest challenge has been trying to now kind of adapt to not only, of course, the changing things with the online learning, but the changing things with courses kind of worldwide. I teach multiple AP classes, and many of their exams have now been totally rewritten.
Parker says his school's administration is urging teachers to act with common sense and compassion towards students. In Melbourne, Florida, Katie Sivko, UCF Nightly News.
April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and while most of UCF's on-campus resources are now closed due to the coronavirus, students are still able to seek the help they need during this time. 1 in 5 women and 1 in 16 men will experience sexual assault in college, according to the National Sexual Violence Resource Center.
We know that violence exists and that it doesn't discriminate against anyone.
Green Dot Coordinator Laura Valley says even with their office closed, Victim Services is still providing confidential advocacy and support over the phone to those impacted by crime, violence, abuse, and more.
Should anything happen and they want to talk to somebody about something, we're here for them literally 24/7.
Sexual assault survivor Emily Rodriguez expresses just how important it is for students to have resources like Victim Services on campus.
Just kind of walked into their office one day and was like, hey, I want to report something, being like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And they were so sweet there and so caring.
Emily recently spoke on campus, sharing her story about her sexual assault and how she overcame the challenges of speaking up.
I wanted to share my story, one, to help reduce, all those feelings of shame and the guilt that can come along with it, being a survivor, because for me, seeing other survivors share their stories was really empowering.
She even took the next step by starting her own podcast, telling her story and offering advice to other survivors. She says she couldn't have done it without the support of her friends, family, and Victim Services.
Definitely very thankful for UCF Victim Services.
If you or someone you know would like to speak to a confidential victim advocate, call or text the numbers on your screen. Reporting for UCF Nightly News, I'm Amber Pellicone.
From dancing in the Addition financial arena to dancing on social media, Nighton is going virtual. The 20-hour dance marathon is an annual event that hundreds of students participate in. Due to COVID-19, the highly anticipated event was canceled, but the executive team decided to make the best out of the tough situation and go virtual. Executive Director Zainab Saeed says her team really wanted to end the year off on a good note.
Although we couldn't have a main event, everyone deserved to be recognized in some way. And there deserved to be some sort of celebration of everybody's efforts and a way to really close off the year and put a nice bow on it.
The virtual dance marathon will begin April 4th, starting at 2 p.m. and run through April 5th, ending at 10 a.m. This year, students will have the opportunity to interact with Nighton through social media and still make a strong impact, just as if it were in person. Shanira Anunobi is a member of one of Nighton's impact teams, and she says going virtual can help bring more awareness to the event.
I was very sad when they canceled the main event, but I'm very excited that they're having a virtual event because I feel like, one, we could reach out to people that have never really heard of us. You could just see it and just decide to join.
Although fundraising is a big part of the main event, Syed says the main goal of this weekend is just to thank everyone for their hard work and educate students on children's health. In Orlando, Hector Garcia, UCF Nightly News.
All across the country, students are no longer able to attend school due to the coronavirus, and all around the globe, children are struggling. I spoke to a UCF student who has made it her mission to help the kids affected.
According to the National Center for Children in Poverty, 43% of children in America live in low-income homes, and most attend schools in high-poverty school districts. UCF junior Diane Barrows is dedicated to helping not only the students in need throughout Orlando, but around the globe.
School Kids for Kids raises money for children in need in neglected areas of Brazil, so the favelas and the rural areas. So we spend a lot of time doing that, and we also try to volunteer around the community here around Orlando. So it's not just about going to a completely other country and helping kids and never seeing them again. It's really about helping our community and their community so that everyone can have a better future together.
COVID-19 is continuing to spread around the world. Brazilians are becoming concerned a hunger crisis may strike as children are no longer receiving school lunches from classes being suspended.
With schools shutting down, many children in less fortunate areas will no longer have the supplies they are given in school at home, and many will be attending pickup locations across Orlando to receive school lunches and other meals.
Marcos Barros is Diane's father, who created School Kits for Kids. After growing up in the favelas of Brazil, Barros stresses how important this is for the children.
Consider that the government doesn't give enough support, so the parents must buy their supplies. And with the coronavirus, the parents are not going to be working, so they don't have the money to buy the school supplies for the kids.
The CDC reminds everyone to continue following guidelines and stay up to date as information is changing every day. If you would like to donate to School Kids for Kids, you can Venmo SK4K at UCF. In Florida, Nicole Coughlin, UCF Nightly News.
People around the world are adjusting to restrictions put in place to contain the COVID-19 outbreak. Along with financial and housing issues, students have to deal with the stress of switching to remote learning. But 3 UCF Rosen College of Hospitality professors are stepping up to show their students that they care. Dr. Jose Nieves, Lauren Sigmund, and Dave John said they transformed the way they teach by using augmented reality technology to create a video series. Nieves says it's important for professors to continue to engage students regardless of what platform is being used.
We wanted to maintain that connection regardless of whatever adjustment I have to make. It is my responsibility to make that adjustments because they are my students. They want information, they want knowledge, they need me.
The series covers class material while showing students how the entertainment industry adapts to today's circumstances. But that's not the only way these professors are showing their support. They said they'll be donating money to the UCF Student Emergency Fund to help students out during this pandemic. The donations will help students pay for tuition, books, and other academic-related costs. John said the professors wanted their efforts to emphasize the importance of unity.
This is an isolating time, or it can be. So the connections that Dr. Nieves talked about are important, and it's important that we recognize this and look for ways to connect each other.
John said the team will continue to explore new ways to engage their students through virtual instruction. In Hollywood, Florida, Monica Seeley, UCF Nightly News.
Now let's take a look at the current conditions. Currently, it is 82 degrees outside with a humidity of 27%. Winds are coming in from the southeast at 5 miles per hour, and there is a 0% chance of rain. So if you're looking to get outside and get a little walk in during the quarantine, it is absolutely beautiful weather for that. Tonight, you can expect a low of 58 degrees and humidity around 23%. Winds are coming in from the east at 5 to 10 miles per hour, and again, we have a 0% chance of rain. Now, let's take a look at the 5-day forecast. Tomorrow, you can expect a high of 86 degrees with a low of 64 degrees and a 0% chance of rain. On Sunday, it gets a little cooler with a high of 79 degrees, a low of 63 degrees, and a 30% chance of rain. So if you want to go on a walk or get a little air during the quarantine, it is possible that you may get some rain. On Monday, we have a high of 83 degrees with a low of 64 degrees and a 0% chance of rain. On Tuesday, we have a high of 88 degrees with a low of 69 degrees and a 0% chance of rain. On Wednesday, it heats up a little bit to a high of 91 degrees, a low of 70 degrees, and a 20% chance of rain. Now, we'll go to our nightly news sports update.
The NCAA this past week announced revenue cuts of $375 million. They will distribute $225 million, well short of the $600 million budget. UCF alumni and season ticket holder Laura Lavoie says it's heartbreaking for the athletes to lose their chance to compete.
And it's just heartbreaking for those kids, for everything to be cut short for them, and some of them for their last time, for their, it's their senior year, and they didn't get the chance. Some of them didn't even get the chance, to really compete.
A survey from Lead One, a group that represents athletic directors from 130 schools, asked directors how COVID-19 affects their school's athletics. The survey says that 8% see a 30% decrease in revenue for 2020, while 35% expect a drop in 2021. 74% also say that ticket sales are at risk for the 2021 fiscal year.
Spectators play a big part in the revenue stream for college sports, and a chunk of those ticket sales goes to season ticket holders. When there are no sports being played, revenue takes a hit.
Javier Perez is another UCF alumni and season ticket holder, and he says that it is troubling because he has to cancel his tickets.
On a sit and wait mode, trying to figure out, okay, how many of these I'm going to have to cancel, etc. It's It's troubling. There's so many good storylines coming into this year.
UCF Athletics said they will continue to work with season ticket holders to determine the impact and offer a partial refund. Nightly News will keep you updated on this developing story. Reporting in Orlando, I'm Sarduy, UCF Knightly News.